Good morning YouTubians, it's Kermit's Ghost and we are going to be watching number 8 on the cult movie poster, and that film is none other than Flash Gordon. So we'll pop the kettle on, get a cup of tea going and see what this is all about. So there are quite a few actors and actresses in this, so we'll go through the list. You've got Sam J. Jones, he plays the one, the only Flash Gordon. Got Melody Anderson, who plays Del Arden. Max von Sydow, who plays Emperor Ming the Merciless. Got Topol, him from Fiddler on the Roof, he plays Dr. Hans Zarkov. Ornella Muti plays Princess Aura. Got Timothy Dalton, who plays Prince Barin. Brian Blessed, who plays Prince Volton, and Peter Wingard, who plays Klytus. So the film opens up with Ming the Merciless and Klytus. They're observing Earth through some kind of device, whether it's through their spaceship or some kind of telescope. And they're observing Earth, as I said, for the first time. And Klytus turns to Ming and says, "This is what they call Earth, Your Majesty." Now we know that Ming is the ruler of the universe, and Ming, before he wants to destroy the Earth, he wants to have a bit of fun with it first, and he's got all these buttons laid out: volcano, hurricane, and he's got a button that says earthquake. Now bear in mind, he's only just heard the word Earth for the first time, yet he has that button, earthquake. Okay, forward thinking, I think. But anyway, so he starts pressing these buttons. Now we cut to this small airfield where you have Flash waiting for a little chartered flight to God knows where. He's an American footballer. He gets on this flight, and Del is another passenger. I don't know what she does. I think she's a reporter or something like that. And she's a bit of a nervous flyer, so Flash holds her hand, tells her story, says everything's going to be alright. But it's not, because the sky suddenly turns like bright red. And this is because Ming's pressing his buttons, and the two pilots at the front of the chartered flight, they either get sucked out of the windscreen or they're vaporized, but they disappear. So Flash takes control, gets in the front, and he lands the plane, you know, a bit of a crash landing in the woods where you've got like a laboratory set up, a small laboratory run by Zarkov, who's Topol from Fiddler on the Roof. Now Zarkov is quite a character. For some reason or another, he has predicted this this event was going to happen, and he's built himself a rocket, and he wants his assistant to get in it, but his assistant runs off. So he tricks Flash and Del into getting it. So they obviously they've crashed in the plane, and he assumes they want to use his phone. So he says, "Yeah, the phone's just inside that little room there," which is a rocket in the middle of his lab, and they, stupidly enough, get in. He shuts the door, and off they shoot off into the sky to save the world, as you do. So Flash, Del and Zarkov, they're in this rocket, off they shoot, and they end up on the planet Mongo. Now bear in mind, this planet is only big enough to have one building on it, and there must be about 20-30 people living in this building. So is that the extent of this planet? I don't know. But Ming runs it. It's very camp. He's got these like red security guards that are running around in their dressed, got like head to toe red rubber on and gas mask. They're gimps. They're gimps with guns, and not very good at it either, because if you kill one of them, they scream like a dying cat. Del, she's brought before the Emperor Ming, and Ming takes a little bit of a fancy to her and says that you're going to be my wife. And while they're preparing her in this concubine, one of the other wives or slaves or whatever gives her this drink, saying, you know, like, he's going to have his way with you tonight, and drink this and you'll forget, or at least you won't mind. So he's like, she's willingly drinking this little roofie, this green tea. So you have these two kingdoms. One is run by Prince Barin and one is run by Prince Volton. We'll go with Barin first, who's played by Timothy Dalton. He's a kind of Robin Hood character. They're living in the woods, all dressed in green, and there's a tree stump. When you come of age, you've got to put your hand in the tree stump, and if there's a monster that lives inside it, if it bites you, you're as good as dead. I mean, why would you? Anyway, he's in love with Ming's daughter, who, by the way, must be adopted, because when she's whipped at one point in the scene, she bleeds red and Ming bleeds green. So there's a question there. Anyway, and then you've got Volton, Prince Volton, who's played by Brian Blessed. Brian Blessed with wings and a leather jockstrap. I'm telling you, a 12-year-old boy wrote this. Prince Volton, Brian Blessed, he's just a set of teeth with a beard. Every scene he's like, you can't take your eyes off him. He's the most craziest character. Anyway, you got Ming, who's got like an army of 10 and his magic ring, and a daughter that hates him. And then you've got Volton, who has this massive flying, because they're all like, I don't know what, a flying reject from the village people, with his leather, his beard, his teeth and his wings, his gold wings. Yeah, and his minions. He's got hundreds of flying minions. You've got Barin, an extra from Robin Hood, and his merry men. And you think they want to team up to kill Ming the Merciless with his ring and 50-strong Gimp army. I mean, you couldn't make this up. You couldn't. But it takes Flash. It takes Flash to convince them, after a very questionable fight scene involving whips and a circle of spikes. You've got to see this film. You've got to see this film. It's the most craziest film I have ever seen, and not likely to ever see it again. So did I like this film? Did I hellers like? My God, what an awful film. Special effect, well, you couldn't even call them special. They weren't even effects really. It was like a cardboard cutout. It was awful, just awful. Acting was as hammy. It was like an end of season cheap matinee pantomime with the understudy. Story was just out there. Like I said, 12-year-old boy was writing this in his bedroom, going through puberty. Would I recommend it? No, not at all. I would give this film a 1.5 out of 10. And that 1.5 is just so I could tell people, yeah, I sat through Flash Gordon. Best thing about this, I'm going to add it, I'm going to make it a 2. Because the best thing about this was the Queen soundtrack. And knocked it up a point. And the other point would be just so I could tell people, yeah, I sat through Flash Gordon, and I bought it. And it's going on the shelf, and it's going to stay on the shelf, because you need crap in your collection so you can appreciate the good. My advice is, if you grew up with this film, then maybe it has some sort of a nostalgic, oh yeah, I remember that, rose tinted glasses, my God. Yeah, maybe if, it would appeal to you if you grew up with this film. But if you're watching this for the first time as an adult in this century, knowing the effects now and the story writing you can get, then forget it. Don't even go down there. Don't give it a go. I wouldn't. I would avoid it. Or at least watch it while you're drunk or with a bunch of friends, just having a laugh, throwing popcorn at your telly, that kind of thing. Did you agree with my surmise of this film? You probably loved it and probably hate the review, but there you go. That was my review. You're entitled to your own opinion. And I would like to hear that opinion. Put a comment down below and I will get back to you, I promise. Give it a thumbs up, that would help the channel. And subscribe if you haven't, it's all free. Why wouldn't you? And if you do subscribe, hit the bell in the corner to get notifications of further videos. All that being said and done, thank you so much for watching this review and choosing my channel today. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.